Hello and welcome once again to the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. My name's Ryan Rastall, PGA professional here and equipment expert for Golfshake.com. As you can see, I've got an array of irons from Srixon to test today. So these are the new ZX and Z kind of Mark II range of irons. So we've got the ZX4, we've got ZX5, ZX7 and the Z Forged, the really small blade. So what we're going to do is have a bit of a hit with them here today on the Trackman. We're then going to get out on the golf course, hit a few shots out there, give you some feedback as to what we think when we're trying these irons, but also talk to you a little bit about the tech with each one. So we'll start with the most forgiving. This is the ZX4 Mark II iron from Srixon. As we can see, we've got a little bit more width in the sole. We've still got this VT sole that we see, which is a feature of all of the irons we're going to talk about today. And it's really a way that Srixon helps with the turf interaction. It helps with moving the weight around a little bit as well, helps it get a little bit deeper, and obviously make the iron that little bit more forgiving. ZX4 is obviously aimed at your kind of mid to high handicapper, maybe someone who needs a bit more help getting the ball in the air. But let me tell you, when you look at it in the playing position, it still looks awesome. It looks really, really good. The loft is fairly strong on this. So this is a 6 iron down at 25.5 degrees. So it's not as strong as some out there, but there are technological reasons why manufacturers do this with loft. It's not all about hitting the ball further. Sometimes it's to try and get that kind of shot window that we're looking for. Because there's so much weight low in the head, that's going to make the ball launch quite high and maybe spin a little bit more. So strengthening the loft is one way to help control that ball flight a little bit. So it's not all about distance. So these are going to be easy to launch. They're going to be a little bit more forgiving on off-center hits. And the way that Srixon achieved this is the main frame technology that they use. So this is a series of kind of grooves and channels cut around the face to kind of alleviate some of the weight, but also make it flex a little bit better as well. So when we don't hit the middle of the face of this iron, we should still see some fantastic ball speeds and distances. So as we move down in irons, ZX5 Mark II is slightly less forgiving than the 4 that we've just looked at, but also looks absolutely amazing. I think this is more of your kind of mid to low handicappers iron. Still looks great. We're still going to get plenty of forgiveness. We've still got that main frame technology in here. We've got a slightly less mass and width in the sole there, so we'll suit that player who maybe wants something to look a little bit more kind of pure, I suppose, sat behind the ball. Also, it's going to be really good on off-center hits. So it's a great iron using the VT sole as well for that player who wants something that looks great, but also maybe needs a little bit of forgiveness too. Next, we see the ZX7 Mark II. Okay, this is an iron that you'll see many players on tour using. I know Brooks Koepka uses these irons. A player's iron in sort of every sense of the word, much slimmer now in the top line and also the sole area. We do have some weight low in the head, but we've also got this pure frame now construction, which basically is getting mass behind the hitting area of the club. So we see this almost tiny little section at the bottom and then this kind of spine that runs down the back of the club head there. This is the pure frame construction that this and the next iron we're going to talk about both have this in there. So much more mass behind the center of the face, more playability in these irons, still got the VT sole. So ZX7 is your iron for really your kind of low handicap player out there. And finally, the Z Forged 2. This is the bladed option that Srixon have in their iron lineup. We've still got the VT sole, much slimmer sole in this iron though, much slimmer top line as well. So it's really that player's golf club sitting behind the ball. Most workable, least forgiving, still got the progressive groove technology that we see in all the other models, but this is an iron that potentially would scare the living daylights out of a lot of you, but looks absolutely fantastic sat in the bag. It feels pretty powerful off the face straight away, and yeah, so we're between 190 and 200 yards there with a 6 iron, which is a bit longer than I would normally hit a 6 iron. Very good, so easy to get airborne, feels awesome off the face, and yeah, it's just fun to use, to be honest. So let's move on to ZX5 Mark II. So slight step down in the forgiveness, but a step up, in my opinion, in looks. It feels very, very good. Certainly a bit more solid. You can tell that this head now isn't quite as big and also as forgiving. It feels a bit more solid in its sort of strike, and the construction obviously is not quite as cavitied. A bit of a toey one, but I still think it's come out all right. A little bit left, but the distance is very, very impressive with these. Again, it's easy to launch, nowhere near as forgiving as the ZX4, it has to be said. Again, feels very good off the face, really nice and solid. It feels very similar to the irons I use at the moment. I've got Callaway Apex TCB, and they feel... I'm not a big fan of irons that feel really, really soft off the face, like your Mizunos of this world. Although they're amazing irons, I completely concede that. I like them to feel a little bit firmer, and this one kind of feels a little bit more like that, which I quite like. A little bit lower on the face, but still felt really, really good. Yeah, it's definitely a step up in terms of difficulty to use, and also forgiveness isn't quite as much as the 5 and the 4 that we've tried before, but looks wise and feel wise, it's very, very good. Yeah, noticeably different feel off the face. That was a slight bit towards the toe, but we're still getting decent distance and flight out of it, and certainly nice high draw. It's not difficult to get airborne, really. So we're on our 14th hole here at Howley Hall with the new ZX and Z range of irons from Srixon. So we're going to have a bit of a nearest to pin competition on here. So I'm going to start with ZX4, then 5, then 7, and then the Z Forged as well. See which one ends up closest to the pin. So we've got about 160 to the middle of the green. I've got 9 irons, so I'm going to have to step on it a bit. Pretty good line. Yeah, maybe just middle of the green, I think, but it's a good strike. Right hand side of the green, I think. Bit higher flight. Oh, I might have just missed the green left. Much better strike. Good for line. Is it going to get there? I'm not sure. It's on the green, but we're going to have to go and have a look. So considering it was 160 to the middle, pins at the back, so it's about 170 from where we've played it from. Like I say, the wind's helping a little bit. Hit 9 iron with all of them, and we can see distance-wise, they're pretty similar, most of them. The Z Forged, we can see middle of the green, so it's pretty much landed 160. ZX4, we can see there on the left-hand side, that was the first one I hit. ZX7, like I thought, just missed left in the bunker, but middle of the greenish. But we can see ZX5's right up there, pin high, a little bit better strike, nice high flight, and we've got a nice sort of 20-footer really for a birdie. So ZX5 takes it on the nearest to pin, and I must say from the shots I've hit from the fairway back there and also inside, ZX5 to me just felt like it was a bit more forgiving, easier to hit, and certainly backing it up out here on the golf course. So let's hit a few more and see if it continues to win. Wow. Oh, I've turned it over. Can't be big, that. So I've just hit 4 shots, one with each iron, from 200 yards to the flag. Yes, it's downhill a little bit. Yes, it's downwind a little bit, but all of them are landing back of the green, so sort of 20 yards past the flag, 220 carry. Yes, downhill, downwind, but that's very, very powerful. So let's have a bit of a look and see how all of these irons compared when we hit them on the Trackman. We've hit them out on the golf course. They all feel great. If I'm going to pick one that's kind of my favourite at the moment, it'd be the ZX5 Mark II, to be honest. It's just a little bit more playable and easy to hit straight for me. But let's have a bit of a look at the numbers. So we can see when we've hit them inside, in terms of the distance that we're hitting them, they're all pretty similar. We've literally got 1.5 yards between the total distance of all of these irons. If we look at the height that the balls are going as well, we can see that ZX5 Mark II was the highest at 120 feet. If we look at the spin that we're seeing there, so nearly 5,300 with ZX4 Mark II, all the way up to the highest spinning, which for me was ZX5 Mark II, which when we look at where the shots are landing and the kind of dispersion that we're seeing there, you can see with all of them that, strangely, that ZX5 Mark II was also the tightest dispersion. Yeah, it was easier to hit straight. Srixon have always made fantastic irons, and if you haven't tried them, I would recommend you go and give them a go. Go to a demo day or your nearest PGA Pro that stocks Srixon to try these irons for yourself. Hopefully you've enjoyed that video. It's been awesome to get out here on the golf course, finally in some sunshine, and hit some shots here at Howley Hall. If you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them, and we'll see you all very, very soon on the channel. Keep watching our content to help you play more and play better.